Jesus Christ.
Jiminy Christ.
Jiminy Christ.
Welcome to Bottle Episodes. Slippin, Jimmy never got a theme song. Welcome to Bottle Episodes.
Hello.
I'm David Piccolomini.
I'm Daniel Crow.
And back again.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
I'm still here. We were going to watch one show.
It's Brandon Gorin.
I'm Brandon Gorin. Still here, Brandon Gorin. And still watching bad cartoons with y'all.
Yeah, we were going to watch another show, but it turns out only one show of that. One episode of that show exists. So if we can ever track down episode 10 of Killer Instinct, we'll do that someday.
Yeah, let's put that out in the universe because I would really like to see.
If you have access to episode 10 of Killer Instinct.
Or frankly, any episode of Killer Instinct. I've already had to watch, preferably episode 10. Yeah. But any of the Killer Instinct. Chi McBride's in it.
Yeah, Chi McBride is also in the show we're covering today.
Yeah, man, he is around. He is just available and will do anything.
He has a house.
Yo, he should. He's very talented.
I think everyone should have a house.
Yeah, I just meant from his acting work.
He might have an apartment.
No, I think he has a nice house.
Might just be a nice apartment. Anyway, Bottle Episodes is the podcast where we watch a maligned show critically. We watch the pilot, and then we watch the highest rated episode on IMDb to determine if it ever got better. Today's show is... It's not necessarily known by everybody, but you are familiar with the characters behind it. It is the animated spin-off of Better Call Saul, which is a spin-off of Breaking Bad. Slippin' Jimmy.
The full title is Better Call Saul Presents Slippin'
Jimmy, yeah.
I think we were all very aware of this for like a couple seconds, and we were like, why would they even do this?
Yeah.
And then you looked at it, and you're like, oh, it's probably to make me say, why would you even do this, and see if you can get some hate watching. Like, I don't know why this exists.
I know why it exists, because it's representative of everything that's wrong with the streamingization of entertainment. It really is.
I want to hear more.
I love the full stop of that. Like, there's a lot of hyperbole in that.
The actual discussion we're going to have about the episodes is it's going to be minimal because the episodes are 8 minutes long.
Okay.
And they're not that interesting. The interesting thing is that they exist and everything that has led to them being allowed to exist. So we ended up doing this one when we couldn't find Killer Instinct because the last episode we did with Brandon where we discussed Little Shop and we discussed how they had been adapting R-rated things into kids shows in the 80s and 90s. And this is a modern example of that. It's not a film. It's a television show. Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, very heavy shows. Dark shows that got a lighthearted kids cartoon adapted from it. But the thing is, we've reached a point in streaming where that's where everyone imagines the hypothetical money that exists. So you have to get people to subscribe. Mm-hmm. So you just do that by making spinoffs of the popular properties you have. And when AMC Plus launched, they had one popular property. I guess they also had like Mad Men and The Walking Dead.
I was about to say, I would love to see the kids' Mad Men.
Yeah.
Little tiny office sexual harassment cases.
The thing is, if you have to adapt one of your shows from AMC for kids, I'd probably go Walking Dead over this.
I feel like Walking Dead is already, and people can freak out about this, Walking Dead, in my opinion, is not entirely for like grown folk. It's a piece of genre fiction. It's for people who are like 17 and like 16, and maybe if you're like a bad kid and you're 14 or 15. Like, it's not like the thing is, like, I was thinking about the shows.
I mean, you can watch it, like, watching it as an adult, you're not trying to hold it to the same critical eye as you would like Breaking Bad or a Better Call Saul.
And it's not like, well, and the thing is, like, Breaking Bad, if you're like, if you're 8 and you saw Breaking Bad, I don't know if there's anything in Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul.
You'd be bored above all else.
You wouldn't be bored as a child watching Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Because like there's stuff like in all the stuff we talked about before, your Little Shop, your RoboCop, your
Bebop,
Starship Troopers, all that stuff. Like, there's something in there you can pull out. There is nothing in Better Call Saul that's asking you. And the question is Slippin' Jimmy even for children in any real way?
I think it's under too many layers of irony where they're like, haha, wouldn't it be funny if we did a show for kids within the Breaking Bad universe? And then they made it, and it's it's, a kid could watch it, but they're not going to want to. So the only audience is adults watching it going, haha, isn't it weird I'm watching this Better Call Saul cartoon?
It feels like
it also doesn't, if they had just made it for adults and had it have more adult humor, it's like, okay, I could see where this could be a fun, weird animated project.
It does
in the
kind of have adult humor, but not like sex humor, like
a reference to Battleship Potemkin.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what child is going to understand that a fistful of snowballs, the first episode, is a reference to anything?
I would have.
Well, no, but that's
You were never
common.
a child.
That's crazy. That's all the time. Like Fairly Odd Parents would do something like that. That's like Phineas and Ferb did a lot of those. And
there was a Shining reference in Rugrats.
Yeah, and there was a really good Godfather reference in Rugrats 2, which I always liked. But, like, that was a reference. That wasn't the whole first episode you're showing everyone. It's one thing to have a reference. It's another thing that the first episode that you want me to see is a parody of a Western.
It is also a weird episode to start your show off with because they don't introduce the characters.
No, you just have to know who Jimmy is.
Yeah. So if this is for kids, they've not watched Better. If a child has watched Better Call Saul and is watching this, congratulations, your audience is entirely young Sheldon, I presume.
It also doesn't. Better Call Saul, not my show. I liked Breaking Bad enough, but I didn't need to do it again.
It's better than Breaking Bad, honestly.
Cool. Breaking Bad was exhausting after a while. It's
if
like
it wasn't better than Breaking Bad, why does it have better in the title?
You can't argue with this kind of logic. And that's the kind of logic that Slippin' Jimmy uses.
Slippin' Jimmy greenlit.
Wait, if Slippin' Jimmy was so it's Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul, Great Saul is
the best Saul.
The best Saul is what they did instead. But we all be feeling different. Is it a naming problem?
Yeah.
But like, okay,
Slip it in quality, more like it.
So
thank you.
Hot take.
Good job. Good job.
And the pod now. It's not getting better than that.
So Saul Goodman,
yes,
in the story is at best a morally gray lawyer, at absolute best, right?
Yes.
And in this version, he is just a cool gunslinger for some reason.
He's just like, he is. That's the weird thing about the show, is the whole thing with Jimmy McGill's character is he's like a cool guy who's always 5 steps ahead in this show, when in reality, the fun thing about him is he's constantly taken out of power, and it's his ability to succeed despite having everything taken away from him.
And actually,
makes him
that's
so cool.
an interesting point, because is the commentary, does this help us understand Saul as a character more? Was he always 5 steps ahead when he was a kid, but then the world has passed him by and he has not progressed, which explains the character we know now?
I wish that people had put that much thought into.
I mean, that's the thing that it feels like it does. I have never seen a show more than this one. This show feels like if Dave and you had a really successful show and you were like, man, my buddy Brandon needs to have a show. He should do this show.
You should do a cartoon spinoff of our show.
And I would do like, it was like, and then you were like, hey, you should do a show, Brandon. Like, we got some rights. We'll give you some rights. Whatever. Make some money, buddy. Who even cares?
It's for kids, but like you don't have to really make it for kids. And you're like, all right, silent movie spinoff.
Yeah. Like, and it was
Get
just
ready
like,
for a Cool Hand Luke parody, children.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's the only thing that makes sense for this show is like it's I know I talked about this with the Warren Buffett episode, but this episode feels the same as well, where the Warren Buffett episode, it was a project where someone was very passionate about it and it never made it onto the scene. This feels like a tax write-off for someone. This is almost definitely like if it got cut, we wouldn't notice. You know how everyone's mad about things getting cut off like backs and stuff? No one would notice if this show went away.
I think it would require people to subscribe to AMC Plus.
It needs to exist because it is a weird part of television history at this point. One of the most acclaimed shows of all time, which spun off one of the most acclaimed shows of all time, now has this.
Just a weird animated footnote.
Is it canon?
It's not canon.
We don't know. I don't know if anyone's ever weighed in on if this is canon or not.
It's not canon because there's an episode that's a silent film, and that's not canon. Like, it's just
prove it's not canon.
That's like proving there is no Santa Claus. Like, I can't prove.
We know Santa Claus exists, and he is regretful for the fact that he led to the death of his wife and elves. Refer back to episode 5 on Whoops.
This is a good call. This is a real comic book episode.
Okay, wait, hold on. I'm looking it up.
Dave just, we all stopped and Dave just made a sound. Like, what does Dave have to say about this?
No, because I was looking through to figure out, and it seems like is Slipping Jimmy good or even part of the canon? Nobody has anything other than it's probably not.
Yeah,
it's probably not. But until Vince Gilligan says otherwise, we have no reason to suspect it's not.
It really if I found out that this was an unauthorized bootleg of Better Call Saul and that they got caught, and instead of like closing it down, they went, you know what? We're really nice today. You're under the Better Call Saul umbrella. Like, that would make the most sense. It feels
says
like
Better
a bootleg.
Call Saul presents, which leads me to believe it's. You know what? Let's do a quick recap of both episodes, and then let's spend the rest of our time making up fun hypothetical spin-offs in the same vein for other legendary TV shows.
The brought to you
because
by-
that'll be a way more fun episode than just recapping how stupid this was. Episode 1, Saul gets in a snowball fight with some bullies, saves his friend Marco.
First of all, Jimmy gets in a fight.
Jimmy McGill gets in a snowball fight. It's a parody of A Fistful of Dollars.
He has to save fucking Mel, what's his name? Who
From Marco.
Well, Marco, but his real name is Mel something.
Oh, yeah.
Who is, he's playing it's the same guy from the first season.
Yeah.
Also, he dies at the end of the first season.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's this weird dead character because this show came out in 2022. So most of Better Call Saul was
they'd be
already
like,
out.
hey, do you remember 6 years ago when this character died?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't look anything like him either.
There's not really much to talk about in this episode other than there's snowballs, and it's a parody of A Fistful of Dollars, and it has the trope I hate, which is anytime there's anything that involves like snowball fights when people act like it's a gunshot. We've all been hit by a snowball before. It at best is a mild annoyance.
That is something I wanted to bring up. That was something I was really scared of to bring into this podcast because it turns out you two played lightsabers with popsicle sticks, and that haunts me to this day.
This is the best of Brandon episode as he brings up all the past episodes.
No, you should listen to it. There was an episode where, like, I remember watching it and be like, no one reacted like that. And I was really terrified that I was going to be like, no one reacted to getting hit by a snowball fight. And then I was going to immediately get bullied.
No, no one reacts like that getting hit by snowballs. It's so stupid. I hate that trope.
There is one joke in this that I scoffed at in a nice way. And that's they did statues made out of snow. And like one of them was Mark Twain. One of them was like,
it was Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood. One of them.
How do you confuse Mark Twain and Clint Eastwood?
The honest truth is I did.
They both say the N-word.
It just
okay.
Yeah,
good
more
point.
than you want them to. Both have weird. Both were okay. Mark Twain, and then the next one is
Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid. Then someone who died of dysentery.
No, and then it's Sergio Leone.
Sergio Leone, and then someone who died of dysentery. Is that the joke? And like that enough. Flowers where flowers are due. I like the Mark Twain joke.
There was no Mark Twain joke.
I like the Mark Twain. Like, it's good. It's a good reference. I enjoyed looking at it. You know, that was okay.
But it's also stylistically, it's still just doing what is it, like the bad Netflix
Big
animation.
Mouth. Big Mouth.
Big Mouth. It's that big wide-eyed weird.
It did look like Big Mouth. It looked uglily like Big Mouth. I think Big Mouth might be okay. It's not great, but it's okay. So that one made me laugh, and there was a part where someone got yelled at because they were wearing the wrong mittens, and that wasn't funny, but it took up time in a way that I went, well, you
cannot argue. This show does take up time.
That's its only job. Its only job is for it to take up time.
Its only job is to exist as something to pad out AMC Plus that exists within the universe of a popular series of shows, so that some obsessive has to subscribe.
God, that's a nightmare.
That's the only reason it exists.
Word.
And there's a million streaming services that are just like that. We're like, it's 5 Star Treks. You have to subscribe to Paramount Plus.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like Star Trek? We have a lot of them.
We have extra Star. We have
well,
more Star Trek
but
now.
most of the Star Treks are generally doing well.
But I'm just giving you an example for like
But
that's
the
how
thing
it
is,
gets
you
padded
can
out nowadays.
But you can get it. You can if you invest in the quality.
Come subscribe to HBO Max. We've got a new Sex in the City. You love Sex in the City. You must subscribe.
Yeah.
Subscribe to BBC Plus and watch Doctor Hoobastank.
Okay, I would watch Doctor Who.
Or like some sort of like prequel to Sex in the City, where like it's
I'm 18 picked people. Hey Dave, it's back in the game.
He's back on his A game.
he's back in the pocket of
Back
Big
in
Pharma.
his A Dave.
Oh god, I was gonna do a Square Pegs joke. Never mind.
No, do the square peg.
No,
joke.
it was just a setup. It's the prequel to Sex in the City.
Back on his A game.
So they do squirrel arm, but so they do. It's weird because if you're gonna do snowballs or bullets,
Yeah.
it's a cartoon. I'll accept the logic. It's fine, but if you're gonna do snowballs or bullets, you then have to have the bullets when they hit count.
Yeah.
So then
Well, he has
when squirrel armor, yeah. So they bury
His
him.
head is still hit.
Yeah, he's hit still plenty of times.
But he's wearing squirrel armor.
His head is not.
The squirrels move.
They don't cover his head.
The squirrel. I think the whole point of squirrel armor is it's like armor that moves.
It's like a magic spell.
He was
Yeah.
buried in snow.
I think we're missing the point that he was
wearing squirrels in his
Squirrels.
jacket.
He was filled with live squirrels.
Okay, fine.
And
He's
Marco
not
was
been
in
taken-
ice jail.
He's not been taken out by snowballs, but he has rabies. Are you happy now?
That would be a good show.
Jimmy's been slipping recently. We should get him a rabies shot.
Anyway, yeah, he then takes out all the other snowball bullies, saves his friend from the ice prison igloo, using a sled that functions as a horse.
And then all the kids get called up. They get called home, and they all stand up, and they're all fine because
Yeah.
it's important to know that all the kids are fine.
I
Yeah.
was
You-
worried.
No kids died in the middle of this.
Thank you and good night. But yeah, that's the whole show. That's the
So
whole.
that's the first episode. That's
the
the
whole
pilot.
that's how they introduce themselves, which is bold. It's wrong, but it's bold.
Okay, also, by the way, I was looking at the episode list. They're all movie parodies.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's like it literally is Cool Hand Luke, After Hours, Exorcist. It's literally called After Bedtime. When it's after hours on the street of Chicago, Jimmy and Marco don't have to look for trouble. Trouble finds them.
This
Fine. What has happened in the last few years where After Hours is suddenly bigger
Right.
than it's ever? It got parodied in Ted Lasso as well. It's always been a relatively minor entry in Scorsese's filmography.
You know, it's his only comedy. People are
Yeah.
excited.
I
People
do
love.
like After Hours. It's just weird to see it getting parodies.
I've never seen it.
Pause it. Let's watch After Hours.
All right, let's watch After Hours. Right, I love the idea that you were like, let's watch a show that's 2 8-minute episodes,
and then watch a 2-hour
and then
film.
you make me watch a 2-hour film in the middle.
So they're all parodies. Okay.
I guess so. I don't know what speed. Oh, yep, Speed Date.
Oh,
Speed.
Yeah.
There's a bomb on the school bus, and it's hidden in Jimmy McGill's heart.
Oh
Can
god.
he
my
ask
God.
out his crush, Dawn Marie, before the clock runs out, or will his nemesis Trent get to her first?
Do you know what this reminded me like a lot of?
What?
Do you remember Happy Tree Friends and sort of that
Yeah.
Newgrounds animation thing? This feels very Newgrounds.
It was less edgy than those sort of things.
Yeah, it didn't quite have the edge of Newgrounds, but it feels like
No, a kid could watch these. They just wouldn't enjoy them.
could they? I
Yes.
don't like.
Yeah, no, they can. It's a thing of it's weird though to be like, hey, child who's like 9 years old,
Uh-huh.
would you like to watch movie parodies of movies your parents think are cool about a TV show your parents think is good?
Yes. So here's what it is. This is what I think it is you go on the Better Call Saul website, right? And these
BetterCallSaul.biz.
BetterCallSaul.biz, and these are free extras that are sort of strewn around the website that you can find
Yeah.
as Easter eggs. That's all that this makes sense to me.
That is total. This would have been free 20
Yeah.
years ago.
This would have been, you
it-
would have paid $20 for the DVD, and it would have had Slippin' Jimmy on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you'd been like, all right, fine.
Because if this was just on the DVD, if this was a freebie on the DVD, no one would care. We might even be like, remember that DVD had those funny Slippin' Jimmys? Like, they weren't good.
Yeah.
But, like, you could put them on. Like, if this is a DVD extra that they try to turn into a TV show.
It's also, I think, really what it was, though, it was like they probably gave, because the people who made the show were someone who worked in like a script coordinator, and then someone who was a writer's assistant who became a staff writer in the last 2 years of the show.
It's nice to know who had blackmail material and producers in the production of Better Call Saul.
But I feel like it's
But
one of
not
those things
great
where they're like,
blackmail.
hey, here's a month, churn out 6 to 8 episodes of a show.
Yeah. I feel terrible for them. This was a no-win situation. If they were given this assignment and it comes out, people were mad as soon as it was announced. No one was ever going to give it a shot.
Well, I think the thing is, and what I'm realizing more and more, because you try and thread the line between making it a show, because it's a show for adults, you have to decide if it's a show for adults or a show for kids. Because
Mhm.
if you try and do one or the other,
You have to decide not to make it.
no, what?
Don't make
Why?
it.
Why
AMC
not?
Plus was never going to allow that.
Also, they made all of the miniseries that they did for Better Call Saul. They were like producing on all the miniseries. This was just one of the many.
What are the other miniseries?
Los Pollos Hermanos, filmmaker training, but they are both much better rated.
Okay, good.
Ethics training with Kim Wexler, 10 episodes.
This all feels like bonus feature to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely bonus feature.
Is AMC Plus must just be a streaming service of entirely bonus features.
Better
And
Call
then a couple shows.
Better Call Saul and their bonus features.
Yeah. Let's talk about the second episode, which I guess, per the format of our show, is an improvement.
Yeah,
It's ambitious thematically, I suppose. It's a silent film episode.
It made some interesting decisions animation-wise that I enjoyed looking at. Not every decision they made animation-wise, but some of the decisions, like having all the there was a series of men behind newspapers and they all looked identical in a way that was stylized in a way that I liked.
Yeah, it had a good style to it with the title cards, silent film sort of thing.
wait, what
We
was
do-
the parody of this? Was it just...
I think it was general silent film, but then there is a Battleship Potemkin scene in the middle of it.
Yeah, but I think it's just general silent. It's silent films in general. It wasn't anything specific.
Okay.
If it was a specific one, it went past me. But we do get an appearance from his brother Chuck in this one.
Trying to listen to Debussy on his radio that won't function,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess symbolizes his lifelong war with technology.
Yeah. See, that's why this is canon.
it's also like a 1940s radio, and the child that I'm being informed is not named Saul. His name is Jimmy. Says Slippin' Jimmy decides that he's going to go pick up a Vitrola for his brother because that is something that happens all the time. And he has traded an old-timey comic book for this Vitrola that he just happens to have because they want to prove that he doesn't have a lot of money. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to say a kid has a comic book than it is to say he has some money.
But
which
don't
is
we
fine.
learn in Better Call Saul that he was like running scams as a kid? He would have had a little bit of money.
But also, I like the idea, though, that this is one of his scams or something, but it's just an earnest trade.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. If you're going to make, like, Jimmy a good guy, like, it doesn't make any sense. He's always a bad guy. Like,
Mhm.
he's a morally gray character. Make him a Bart Simpson morality style character. Like, he's getting one over on people constantly.
Yeah.
That's, like,
That is
what-
true. This isn't a fun show. Kids love mischief.
Yeah, no, this is not a mischief show. He is a very well-behaved child.
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy is that he is the most... Well, he's not well-behaved, though. He's, like, avoiding the cops and stuff.
Yeah, but
But the cops are after him for the wrong reason.
Yeah, he's
This show believes ACAB.
pretty based. Pretty based.
But yeah, I guess it's also, I think what makes this episode an improvement is there's no dialogue. And what just occurred to me thinking about it is, of course the show is bad. You have two people who are drama writers,
Yeah.
heavy drama writers, who are funny in the space of drama.
God, if only there was someone involved in Better Call Saul who had like the most connections in the comedy world out of anyone.
Yeah.
I don't know, like maybe one of the main actors or something.
Like someone like a titular character. Or
Yeah,
something?
like like maybe someone who would launch the careers of several comedy people.
Yeah.
And then could have used their network.
Yeah,
to find like some up and coming comedy writers.
like a Mr. Nobody type guy.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
That could have helped them because they could have found people to do this show.
It's really depressing that they don't have someone.
Yeah.
Who,
Are
like,
you
what
guys
if
talking
it-
about Bob Odenkirk?
Yeah, we're talking about Bob
Odenkirk. Oh my God, Jesus
Okay,
Christ,
cool.
Dave.
I wasn't sure.
Are you really not sure this is a bit? You doing a bit? I can't tell. Dave, you were in the pocket of Big Pharma the last episode. Now you're just in the pocket. I'm dealing with two different Davids.
Two different Daves.
Two
the
different
next
Daves.
episode of Bottle episodes.
Yeah, like Bob Odenkirk could have hooked them up with some good comedy.
But I think
writers.
that's also maybe the thing of they were like, we just have our internal people. We just churn these out. They're not trying.
they should.
You could try.
You're
could
trying
try
to make a streaming service live.
anything, even if it's even if you try, like we're seeing people try 0%, and if we saw 1%, we'd all be excited.
I mean,
about it.
also, here's the thing is people were absolutely trying. Everybody on this production was absolutely trying, except for the executives who were greenlighting it.
So I'm against Chat GPT. I am against it.
Yeah?
But if I found out it wrote these episodes, I wouldn't be like too surprised. Does that make like this feels like it's
No,
written by
I
a
disagree
robot?
with that so much. It's what happens when you get non-comedy people writing comedy.
ChatGPT would have put in jokes. They would have been very corny, but there would have been jokes. This doesn't even really try jokes.
Like, there's no dialogue in the second episode, and I think it's a lot more fun because you can do a lot more narrative tension and stuff.
What has
When-
like word jokes? It has a joke about the Bears. That's people like that.
Oh, yeah.
The Bears being bad, yeah, but you're not supposed to say it out loud. That was a joke. There was a jokey joke in there.
Yeah, so we'll give a quick rundown for everyone else. So he gets the record player. He tries to take it on the subway, but it goes down the stairs in a carriage like Battleship Potemkin, and then it keeps rolling. It rolls past the gate. He jumps the gate.
They do make it seem like he almost murdered
A baby at one point.
Yeah.
But it's all good. It's a sight gag.
the baby's in the grocery cart now.
Behind the carriage, yeah. And then pretty much once he jumps the gate to go get the record player, we get a cop chasing him through the subway for the rest of the episode.
And
which
a dog.
feels longer than 8 minutes.
A big dog.
Yeah, but he sicks the dog on the cop at one point. And then
'Cause
there's just a bunch of silent film gags of the cop chasing him around the subway.
Bunch of faceless men, businessmen, making it hard to get around the subway.
Yeah, I feel like you could have done more. If you're just doing it, if you're just doing silent films, you could do more. And it's a cartoon, so you don't even have to physically do it. Just do more.
References?
Yeah, just do
Do
more.
the Chaplin Modern Times where he goes through the gears at some point.
Yeah, do the
Yeah.
Chaplin Modern Times. Do the one.
Safety last. Do a
Yeah, the safety
last.
where he runs
Yeah.
out and he's hanging from the clock.
Yeah.
Maybe do the Buster Keaton where everything falls.
Mhm.
It doesn't exactly, but like who?
A
Obvious
ladder.
things, yeah.
Yeah, like just do like if you're gonna do a silent film or a cartoon, in my opinion, you're doing references already. Just do every single one you can possibly do. Fill up that 8
Or
minutes.
start subverting them. Do weird ones. Do start with what you think is going to be like a fall down thing, and then it turns into a different silent film gag.
Yeah.
Because the laws of physics aren't bound to anything. It's an animated thing.
That is an interesting point where you brought up how it was all drama writers. So when they do their silent film parody, the only thing they have is Battleship Potemkin. Like they don't know any of the silent comedies apparently.
They don't know they're Keaton. Oh,
Unless
no.
they are so good that they put in references that we didn't catch.
No, I know.
Probably.
I've watched a lot of Keaton, and I can tell it's
Yeah.
Keaton when I see a Keaton.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I'm sure there's references we didn't get. Also, I
I don't
feel
know,
like the
man.
police officer thing
I
feels
like
very...
I like Chaplin and Keaton quite a bit.
All right.
yeah, and those jokes that like the one joke I'm actually surprised they didn't do. It's that Keaton joke where he goes to commit suicide, and he goes to stand in front of a car, and just two motorcycles passing
Yeah.
by. Like that would have been you're
They could have
done.
done that with the trains.
Yeah, do that with the trains. So just have two motorcycles on it. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to subvert, and like, there's silent, like all silent film gags have been subverted and done a billion times. But just do them all. Just do them all back to back. Maybe even do stuff that isn't that. Do like the Great Dictator. Make him balance the world on his fingers. Who cares?
Yeah, this should have a Hitler parody in it.
Why not?
Hey guys, if you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget and rate and review and subscribe to it on Spotify, iTunes, Instagram. I don't know how you can do that on Instagram, but you can follow us on Instagram at DPIC Comedy or Daniel F. Crow or Brandon Gorin on this episode, and several others. He's been around. Turns out we're good friends. Also, check out my special Goblin King on YouTube and my TikTok, LickGrandma69. Does anybody else have anything to contribute? I'll let you guys, you know what? Here, right now, you plugged something. I'll pause for 5 seconds. You plugged something. Incredible plug. Loved it. I will definitely check that out too. You guys, and you should check it out and check out the rest of this episode, which you will do by passively not pressing pause right now.
Why not?
Anyway, that's the bottle episode. It is better than the pilot, but I don't know if it means the show's worth watching.
I wouldn't say, yeah.
Anyway, let's just fill the rest of the time with fun other kids' versions of legendary shows you could have made. And I'm gonna start us off.
Okay,
if that's all right.
Alright, yeah.
Yeah, show exactly what I need to do.
The game you picked out?
Yeah. So you guys throw in whatever you have.
Yeah.
It's The Wire,
Okay.
and it's after Prez Beluski becomes a teacher, and you do like Saved by the Bell with the kids from the 4th season as well.
Okay, perfect.
Just a fun little school sitcom
Yeah, school sitcom.
set in Baltimore. Prez Beluski's in over his head.
Oh, it's like
It's like Saved by the Bell.
It's like or the one with the Horseshack.
Welcome Back, Kotter.
Yeah, it was Welcome Back, Carter. It was a little messier.
Yeah.
Wait, what's the one with the freeze frame?
With the freeze frame?
Like where one guy narrates the whole thing and freezes everybody around.
That's Saved by the Bell.
That's Saved by the Bell.
That's
Okay,
Saved by the
cool.
Bell.
Right.
So my one that I actually would kind of want to see, and it's not exact. Well, we can make it for kids. Who cares? It's Head Dancing, but it's Cheers.
Yeah.
But it's the prequel where he's just playing baseball and drinking.
I thought you were going to say he was a
Ooh.
kid and he was running a lemonade stand.
That would be good too. That would be
A
really
vodka
fun.
lemonade stand.
Yeah, actually, this is interesting because Cheers is not like a dark show. So actually, what I think we would do with Cheers is, since this is a spinoff of a spinoff, Slippin' Jimmy, we do a dark spinoff of Frasier for like only adults to watch. I know Frasier was for adults. But
Yeah, I don't know. A dark spinoff of Frasier
Is
as
he-
a
is he
child.
hunting
it's
serial killers?
It's about his dad's time
No.
in World War II.
No, I got one. No,
It's
I
Band of
got
Brothers
one.
with his dad.
All right, guys.
Stop making this too hard. It's Frasier, but he's a psychiatrist. But now he's working for the cops, and he's hunting serial killers.
Yeah.
And he's like, and it's a Hannibal-like thing where the prime serial killer is like also very respectable, and he's in a game of chess.
It's the same theme song about dealing with crazy people.
Yeah, no, I love it so much. And it's-
Baby, I hear the blues a calling. Tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
and then it's just at the end, and then it just starts.
Don't
It's
know
in New
what
Orleans,
to
too. I
do
don't know
with
why, but it's in
those
New
so
Orleans.
sad. Don't know what to do with those salad and scrambled eggs. That's-
It's the only difference is it's called. It's like, you know how CSI was just CSI NYC, CSI Miami, CSI Vegas. It's just called
Frasier Nola.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
They still filmed it in Seattle. It's clearly Seattle. They're just claiming it's New Orleans.
No, well,
And this is for kids.
This is
famously
for kids.
Okay.
Yeah, well, famously, the Frasier set was on the same set as the Cheers set.
Hmm.
So it's still on the same set as Frasier, but they just make it look like a New Orleans like bog.
Okay.
David, you're up. We'll keep going on a loop until we hit an hour.
All right. Okay. Mine's pretty simple. We all know Muppet Babies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. What about the TV show Oz?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Put them together. I think we've got
Oz Babies?
Yeah,
They're
Oz
in,
Babies.
They're in timeout.
They're in solitary. You get taken to solitary
Solitary
timeout.
Here's the thing. I don't think you take them all the way down to the babies. You remember Recess, the TV show Recess?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
you're just doing Oz as recess?
You do Oz's Recess, but it's called Detention.
What is the recess equivalent of
It's
neo-Nazis?
just a kid. It's just a kid in a wheelchair being like, every day after school, me and the other bad kids have to go to detention in O-wing.
I imagine like
we
all,
call it.
I imagine like all the neo-Nazis from Oz, instead of swastika tattoos, they have that weird S that all kids draw at school, just tattooed on them.
Weird. Yeah, that.
You know the S.
Yeah.
We all know that weird S that was just weirdly drawn in high school for some reason. I
Yeah.
don't know what it was called.
I always called it the Super S.
They also, though, It's not like those same kids also wouldn't draw swastikas. Like
Yeah,
there
but
Yeah,
it's
were,
for kids.
Yeah, this is a show for kids. But
Yeah.
it brings me to my next point, which is that
they actually just get 2 of the S's. What are we doing? Okay, there we go.
our Sopranos cartoon, Sopranos would be spelled with that S.
Yes.
And I think they're solving mysteries.
Who?
The Sopranos.
Is
kids.
Young Tony.
Yeah, Young Tony. They're solving. Around
By the way, it's
neighborhood.
called Young Tony.
It's called Young Tony. It's actually, forget what my pitch. It's exactly like Young Sheldon. young Tony is autistic in this version.
Just getting abused by his mom.
Yeah, they're making him become a mobster. He doesn't want to be a
Actually, if you do
mobster.
an animated Young Tony where he is kind of more like Christopher.
Oh, that's yeah.
Or not Christopher. Who's his son? What's his son? That's Christopher.
No, Christopher's his nephew.
Oh, what's the one that
God, I'm blanking on
Louis
what's
Anderson? What's the TV show? That
Life
Louis-
with Louie. Oh,
But
it'd
it's
be a Life with Louie.
Life with Louis. What is Young Tony?
Or would it be
instead?
more like Howie Mandel? So he like James Gandolfini would show up live action at the start of every episode, and be like, "This is what it was like as a kid."
Pretty rough, right?
Yeah, no, that's it.
There'd be all kinds of gags of physical comedy where he's just getting beat by his parents, which nowadays would be horrifying, but was fine.
But
back
it's a
then.
'90s cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Young Tony.
Just getting
Great.
beat by his mobster dad and his really like harpish mom,
Yeah.
like his crazy mom.
Yeah, would start with Anyway,
Okay.
you want
I'm
your next
pretty
one?
excited about this one because we're not. Do we only do TV shows, or can it also be movies into
Oh
TV
yeah,
shows?
you do a movie if
Anything
you want.
into
Yeah.
a TV show, you can do it.
Just
into
as
a
long
TV
as it's
show.
as inappropriate as Slippin' Jimmy.
Yeah, I no, because I think this would be good. I really want to do The Exorcist, but like the demons are all little. Like all the
Okay.
demons are little, and they're all played by different puppets. And you get like, and you have the thing where like it's Captain Howdy, but it's just Captain Howdy now, and he's just the guy who's taking care of all his little demon friends, and like they're just friends and they're just hanging out, and then they go and possess people, and then they come back when they're done.
You know what you've given me a fun idea for?
What?
A kid's version of Dexter. But like, what did Dexter call the voice that made him do stuff?
I don't know.
No, he had like a code, but it was his like it was
the
voice
Dark
of,
Passenger.
That's
What's that?
it.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
that's a puppet.
Oh,
in
that's
my
or-
version.
Yeah, it's like an Alf situation.
Yeah, just walking around with Dexter,
Yeah.
telling him to kill people.
You should kill people, buddy.
oh no, they're the bad guys.
Wasn't the one with the dog, the guy in the dog suit? That's basically the guy in the dog
Wilfred?
suit. Yeah.
Yes, you're right. I am.
Wait,
pitching
does
Wilfred.
he try to? He just tries to tell people like he's like just like
I think he
kind
kills
of
people
rude.
towards the back end of the last season.
Oh, wow.
Like, he kind of goes nuts towards the end.
Oh yeah, I remember that show gets weird sad for like
Yeah, it gets way more sad than it needs to be.
As I'm thinking more as we're doing this little game, I am horrified that someone from a streaming service is going to be listening and being like, green light that, green light that, green light that.
I'm trying to figure out. So you remember Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out how to do that but then how there.
Oh,
was
you
a-
would do like an Are You Afraid of the Dark?
But there was a Tales from the Crypt for children.
Oh, there was.
Yeah, it was called The Tales from the Crypt Keeper, I think it is. And they redesigned it. It was all for kids. But I want to do that. But I want to do that specifically for Black Mirror. So I want it all to be like, do you think, like, but it's all like YouTube, like kid stuff, but it's all Black Mirror. And it has that like overly eerie vibe and like sad vibe that Black Mirror has, but all for children.
Okay. How did you Black Mirror kids?
I'm trying to figure that out. I haven't figured it out yet. That's why I brought it to the table.
Yeah.
Two best minds in the business.
Okay.
This is your job now. Is taking shows that shouldn't be for kids.
So
and
what
turn
it
into
is,
kids.
it's like one of those YouTube. It's a YouTube series,
Okay, I like
and
it.
you know those videos that are like, I won $1 if you go without breathing for 3 days.
Or like, if you ever see the ones that, like, I don't watch them obviously because I'm a grown up, but they're like, what happens if you order something from the dark web at midnight?
Yeah. and
Yeah, it's exactly
it's
that.
that. Yeah.
But it's Black Mirror episodes, and we're trying to educate kids to be more afraid of technology.
yeah, the kids, they are too comfortable with technology.
Oh, they're way too comfortable, but I'm against it.
Kids.
wow, that's how quickly we got to sounding old. That was
Kids, I know
incredible
you're
how
listening
quickly.
to our little podcast on
No,
the Spotify or
Slippin'-
iTunes.
It's an episode about Slippin' Jimmy. How can they not listen to
yeah,
it?
I think we've got a big 8-year-old audience tuning
Yeah,
in to hear
kids
all about
love
their favorite
Slippin'
cartoon.
Jimmy.
He is-
If I met a kid that loved Slippin' Jimmy, I think I would lobby my congressman to make child abuse acceptable for one child.
That's not his fault.
You should be allowed
No.
to hit that kid.
The thing is, if a kid loves Slippin' Jimmy, that's not his fault. That means his parents have really not been doing great parenting work. Like, it's not on him. That's them forcing their kid to watch Slippin' Jimmy with them and them only having one episode for them to watch with, you know?
Well, they would
Like-
have 8 episodes.
Well, yeah, you get the point. No one loves Slippin' Jimmy.
There must be someone out there that this is their show.
I'm still trying to figure out how to make 6 feet under for kids.
Oh, it's like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
We get to see all the ghosts.
The funeral home is haunted, but they're friendly.
That's so good. Yeah, it's a funeral home, and it's all haunted. Just a bunch of different ghosts.
The
and,
dad's a main character, but he's there and not abusive.
Yeah, he's there, not abusive, and he's like really spooky. Does that make sense? Like it's almost an Addams Family ripoff, but like it's also one because the whole 6 Feet Under had this where every episode is a very like lesson based episode. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like every episode will be like, the more you know, you will die one day. Like that's the whole theme of this.
they just yelled, "You will die one day."
Yeah, it's the more you know. One day we'll all be worms.
I'm trying to figure out what show we could turn into a Mr. Rogers style show.
Like someone talking straight to the camera.
Yeah. Trying to
Okay.
comfort the kids.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, what show could be Mr. Rogers?
Mr. Rogers, or like Blue's Clues kind of covers that too, right?
Yeah, but Blue's Clues is not based on something very adult.
Yeah, that's just a rate.
No,
that's a
but
show
like
we've
it's the
already-
same. That's the slot we're trying to fill, right?
Blue's
Like,
Clues is the ultimate show because it's Mr. Rogers style and you solve mysteries.
I do love Blue's Clues. I'd watch Blue's Clues right now. Remember? Yeah, I love it. I love it.
You'd watch it. Sure, you mean I like the idea of like, oh man, I'd watch that show right now.
You know what I would do to be Mr. Rogers style?
What?
I would do the newsroom and have Jeff Daniels lecture children.
You need
He was
something
always lecturing people.
that you need something that like breaks the fourth wall, and like
Okay.
maybe a Sex in the City might be a
Doesn't Fleabag break the fourth wall?
Fleabag breaks the fourth wall a whole
Could
lot.
you do a
That's sort of-
Fleabag,
Oh,
Mr. Rogers?
I don't like that at all.
No. Elaborate why you don't like that.
Just I mean,
doing a lot of murder stuff, not a lot of sex stuff. Not
It's
a lot
a
of sex
lot of-
stuff.
yeah, it's a lot of her just like explaining to the puppets like why like anal sex is easy with preparation.
Well, no, she wouldn't because it's a kid-friendly
Yeah.
version.
Yeah, well, this version they're not doing that. It would be like a bunch of movie parodies or something. Though
She'd be trying to teach kids some lesson.
Fleabag.
Sometimes your best friend dies at random. There's nothing you can do about it.
Honestly, yeah, Mr. Rogers would do. He dealt with grief.
And sometimes you really want to fuck a priest.
Yeah, Mr. Rogers was a priest, so ergo, everybody did.
It wouldn't be called. It would be one of those ones. It would be like Fleabag Kids. It would be called like Fleabag Presents.
Yeah, the kids are going wild for Fleabag presents
No.
whatever.
It would be like Fleabag Presents. What was the name of the cafe that she had with all the cats?
I don't know the name of it. Well, it didn't have cats. It
was
had a hamster.
It was
gerbil.
hamsters. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen it. But also, you just makes you. Yeah, Fleabag works for that because you make those hamsters puppets. You're set. She's talking to the camera.
Mrs. Waller Bridger's Neighborhood.
Yeah, done. Fleabag's good. You should see it.
Make me.
Okay. How do you want me
He's
to do
pulled
that?
out a gun, everybody.
I
watching-
don't feel safe. I
We're watching this and we're watching Blue's Clues.
was gonna say I would watch It's Always Sunny teenager.
Oh, man, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, like because that's the other thing is there is a market for like adult animation and really
Mhm.
good adult animation. Like even Bill Burr's F is for Family is a show about kids for adults.
But do you consider Slippin' Jimmy for adults?
No, but that's I think the problem is they didn't really pick a lane.
Yeah.
So they were half for adults. They're doing Cool Hand Luke parodies the whole time.
Yeah.
So
They
it's
didn't
like
pick a lane. They picked a driveway and they stayed in it.
Do you think it's one of those things? I'm at a loss because I feel like we hit this wall where we keep going, how did this get made? In a real who could have stopped this?
Vince
Like-
Gilligan.
Do you think it's his? How do you think he feels about it?
Not great, I would imagine. I think he just at some point
I don't
determined.
know if he's watched it.
I'm sure he's aware it exists.
It's under
Yes.
his name. Like
Yes.
he can't not be involved. He's made no money from it. Like,
I'm
this-
sure he got a little bit of money thrown his way because he did co-create the character.
Yeah. But not in like any like like sometimes like you hear like people who like write scripts and they get like changed 15 million times and they're really frustrated about it. But they're like, yeah, but like every time they show it, I get $300, so that's great.
Mhm.
He's fine. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't need. I don't think.
No, but
he
it's
needs Slippin' Jimmy money.
Here's what I would say though. He's like, great. I'm glad these two people who I like on my staff get to just make a show, and they get a credit as like a head writer on a thing.
Do you think he had to sit and watch it with them when they like
Clockwork
stared at him?
Orange style.
Yeah, they were like, "Do you like it? Do you like it? We made it. Do you like it?"
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, I get that reference. I like that. I wonder if they showed the first episode. He's like, I like that it's a movie reference. And they're like, we're doing every episode this way.
Do you want to see my impression of Vince Gilligan 30 seconds into watching the first episode?
Yeah.
Oh my God, guys, I'm getting a call right now. I'm so sorry. I gotta go.
This is great. Keep doing this
Keep
for
it up.
exactly
Keep it
8
up.
episodes.
No, he could have stopped it because AMC wants to work with him in the future.
I wonder, is this another, like.
But I bet it's like you give these two people it's like, hey, great, here you go. Here's your show.
Yeah.
Would have worked if we weren't streaming and like there was a Better Call Saul marathon day and they went, we have these special things which we're going to play in between the Better Call Saul marathon day. Like,
Yeah.
like I feel
No
like
one would care.
these would work as bumpers. Like
Yeah.
if you made a bumper out of this, people would like this a lot more than a full-on 8-minute episode.
Exactly. The outrage of this is that it was a separate show and the implication that it is canon within Breaking Bad, which we also didn't discuss what Breaking Bad would have been like as a kid's show, which is clearly like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah, it's built on a science. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's 24?
24 is 8, and it covers 8 hours in a school day. Just episode 1, science class. Episode 2, math. It's educational. It's like Sesame Street.
Or it's just a kid running through those classes trying to stop a stink bomb.
Stink bomb at a school is like code name for a fart.
No, like there are stink
bombs are real.
That's a
Yeah.
thing. You could throw a stink.
I just like saying fart.
Fair. Band of Brothers.
Band of Brothers. It's a Disney show about a brothers that are in a band. It's
And
they've
the
done
horrors
several of
of
those shows.
traveling through Germany
Yeah.
during that time. It's a
Oh, yeah,
really
they're
bad
on a
tour.
That's the only
They're
thing
on a
that's saved
European
for the
tour.
show.
They're on a really. That's actually so funny. It's a band. It's 4 brothers in a band on a really bad tour through Germany.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chernobyl
is.
animated.
It's also like Bill Nye the Science Guy, probably.
No, Chernobyl's like it's an animated. It's like a Fern Gully style about the horrors of like.
Or like gargoyles, and all the mutants have come out of the power plant, and now they protect that area.
Russian gargoyles.
Yeah.
Oof, rough.
Can I hear an impression of a Russian gargoyle?
The
Excellent. That's actually one of the best
I-
impressions I've ever heard Dave do.
I made you do 2 Russian impressions on back-to-back episodes.
yeah, double the Russian, double the fun. Who said these are back to back?
Me, just now.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a secret lost episode.
Oh, we're putting this up on the new Patreon?
Yeah, it's on the new Patreon. It's under the $5 tier. Check us out. You can be the bottle or the episode.
It's weird to advertise the Patreon on an episode you can only find on the Patreon, guys.
It's a lot like putting this on AMC Plus. You're trying to draw people in, but you'll only get horrified people that liked you enough to
Who would you
subscribe.
do
in the
Law
first
and
place.
Order with?
What would I do Law and Order with?
Yeah, how do you kidify Law and Order?
It's like
Squeaky gavel.
a model UN club
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, and I
That doesn't make sense. It's not model UN, but you get what I mean.
no, it's hall monitors. It's
Hall
all about
mon-
hall monitors. The
Hall
whole
and
time.
Order.
Succession. Succession feels like a show that like Jesse Armstrong was like, we're not doing an animated
Oh
spin-off.
God, I bet they asked him.
I feel like HBO doesn't do that as much.
But Max,
Why did they get rid of the HBO again?
because Discovery bought Warner, and then they were like putting all their stuff on the service. So then they said drop HBO because we have reality shows now. We've got HGTV. We don't need HBO.
And HBO is now just a part of Max.
But the brand should just be Warner Max at this point instead of HBO Max, because at least people know Warner Brothers.
Now people know Max.
It's a lot like AMC Plus. You got to let people know what you're getting into.
Okay, hold on. Animated Succession, children.
It doesn't have to be animated. There are live action kids shows.
Yeah, but this one would be animated.
Actually, you know what animated Succession is? It's
Little Roman.
No, it's Warren Buffett's Secret Millionaires Club.
With an abusive dad.
Yeah.
Just an abusive dad. At the
Yeah, Warren
Logan-
Buffett's Secret Millionaires Club.
Logan Roy's Secret Millionaires Club.
Also,
You children are worthless.
here's the thing that we've left out that we have. Like, a lot of kid shows are just game shows. So, like, Succession could just be a game show.
Something like Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego?
Yeah, we could do Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego.
Mm.
So, like, it could just be a game show. It doesn't have to be an animated show. It doesn't have to have a logic to it. It can just be a game show.
Win Logan Roy's money.
That's great. I think people would watch it, too.
Both equally as conservative.
Yeah. How'd you make the Eric Andre show for kids?
I think it is for kids.
Oh, well, never mind
Yeah,
then.
as if it's
Great.
It's for children.
Got him. Got him. Love the anger.
Oh, God.
Honestly, I just love adding little to the name of any like anti-hero as a
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, you just do the Shield, Little Vic Mackey.
Oh,
Little
yeah.
because whenever I picture someone as like in like whenever I add LIL to their name and little, I just picture them, it's a tiny body, same size head.
Yeah.
Oh, I picture them as a
absolutely.
rapper.
Oh no, but I'm like talking about like to make him a kid.
Okay.
No, not to be compared with Little Vic, the rapping version of the Shield character.
Oh, thank God. I thought you were about to say Michael Vick. Jesus Christ. Terrible sitcom.
Little Vic
Oh, no.
and his puppy pals.
Oh, God.
Oh, they get into boxing matches and save the world.
Oh, no.
I'm against
No.
this, and for clarity, I
Yeah.
don't want this to be made.
I would like also to say I'm against that.
I'm just picturing a Muppet Babies style animated show with House.
With House.
Yeah.
Dude, Little House is spectacular.
Yeah, they made it, but you had to add On the Prairie.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Doogie Howser.
Oh, I guess that makes sense as well.
No, that kid wasn't mean.
But he was a kid.
Yeah, but I want like a cantankerous
If you-
kid
if
who
you-
like eats Pez
Look,
constantly.
even if he was nice, if you in real life were a coworker of Doogie Howser, you would say he was mean because you would be so mad.
you would hate
You would go
that
to
kid.
work every day and be like, I hate that kid so much.
Dude,
I hate his guts.
Someone lost their shit on Doogie Howser at one point.
Yeah.
It's just been like, actually, it's this. And he was like, actually, it's this. Actually, it's this. You know what? I wonder if Doogie Howser ended with him getting punched right in his mouth. Like, just like, I write a blog. I hate you.
Yeah.
I want the Mad Men one to just be like, it's like Pete's Big Adventure.
Okay.
And it's just him just running around to different, he's like a toddler and he's just sneaking off to different girl toddlers' houses.
I think the thing about Mad Men for kids would be it's all about them making the brand deals for all those cartoons that are just to promote toys.
That's awesome, actually. That's actually
It's,
a Mad Men
it's
I would
them
watch.
doing like, oh, now we'll get Transformers made for you to promote the toy. And the kids like it because they're like, I love Transformers.
Their product placement.
Well, no, because they live in a world where the Transformers are real. And they're like, oh, hey, we got to advertise
Oh.
you guys. We're going to make these sick toys.
So this is a world where Transformers are real
Yeah.
and we're watching the Mad Men characters.
The Transformers aren't they're not the only things that are real.
Right. So like G.I.
He-Man
Joe
is also real in this
yeah,
universe.
and we're watching the Mad Men characters.
Nothing stops you from watching the other shows. You're allowed to keep watching He-Man.
I would like it better if we took off all the other shows and the only way you can watch it is through a veil of Mad Men parody.
There's just one episode where
Children.
where they tell the Street Sharks that they need to make a toy line.
No, you really got a good thing going on here. I'm trying to figure out what we do with Twin Peaks. I've been thinking about it for a while.
There's like a lot of random cartoons nowadays, so it wouldn't be too hard to
Oh.
do Twin Peaks in the style of one of those.
Oh, yeah, I feel like Gravity Falls might just be Twin Peaks
Yeah.
for kids.
I don't know why I want Atlanta to be in a Dexter's Lab style, but it feels like an early Cartoon Network.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
feel early Cartoon Network. I want that, but like, and does it feel like the episodic nature of Dexter's Lab feels important for this, that we can kind of blow up the world and not care?
Can I add a different perspective for Mad Men? Actually,
Mm-hmm.
Don Draper is Johnny Bravo.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Feeling that?
Is it identical to Mad Men? We just
Yeah, he took someo's identity as Johnny Bravo.
but everything else is real and real people, but Johnny Bravo is just drawn over it the whole time.
Smoke some more. Fuck.
No, do
It's
it. Go
really
for
hard
it.
to say smoke some Marlboros with me.
You just did.
Yeah, nailed it,
that
dude.
was really hard to do.
You didn't want to do it in the
with
Bravo
regular.
voice. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just rotoscoped over
Smoke some
top.
cigarettes with me.
That's good. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. Keep that. We're watching Dave smoke just silently.
No, I didn't even smoke.
He's lit.
Oh, he held up a vape.
He's lit up his 5th cigarette. It just stares at us.
Actually, you know what? Considering, I hate to go back to talking about Slippin' Jimmy on this podcast about
yeah, no,
Slippin'
I know.
Jimmy, but
So-
considering the nature of Better Call Saul, it shouldn't have been all movie parodies. They could have genuinely done, like, Saul's confronted with a moral decision about if he should give into peer pressure and start smoking or something.
It would be dope.
Like, kids actually encounter those situations.
It also would be fun to do a parody of that where Saul continually makes the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Like
it's-
where and his life gets worse over the season.
yeah.
People probably wouldn't hate the show that much if that was what was happening.
I mean, it's also one of those things, though. I feel like it's like, hey, can you make a funny Better Call Saul show in a month?
Yes, I can. I believe in myself.
Okay, are we at the point where we're like, how would we improve this show?
I think we were already talking about it. So
If gun to my head, I'm told I have to make a funny Better Call Saul, I'm probably going to make like an office style sitcom.
Mm.
I mean, he's a lawyer. He's got an office.
but that this is appealing to kids.
Do we think the prompt that they were given was make a cartoon, or was it make a funny Better Call Saul
I
thing?
think it was make a cartoon.
Do you think it was make a cartoon?
Yeah.
I love the
Then
idea.
you need to, the best way to improve it is to be like, this is for adults. We can wink that it's a kid show, quote unquote, but we all know it's not.
What happens if that was their actual plan, though, was to get kids into Slippin' Jimmy, and then they'll be so excited to watch Better Call Saul when they're like 13.
That's a terrible
What a
plan.
weird long game.
Like, at best, this should have had the tone of the Venture Brothers.
Yeah, I could see this. I could see a version of this that works early Adult Swim time, like that 10, 11 spot.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like late Adult Swim where like things get weird, but like it could have worked early Adult Swim. Like it's way too structured for, but like
Yeah,
you,
you're making a cartoon, and it's supposed to be stupid. You're clearly making it with a wink. Why is it so grounded?
Well, that's actually one thing I would say during the first episode. We didn't really talk about it. They meta joke on themselves like 3 times in the first 4 minutes. I'm like, this is an 8-minute show. How have we stopped the momentum 3 times? It'll be like, well, they would like stop and explain the joke, and then the joke was that they were explaining the joke and getting frustrated about explaining the joke.
Yeah.
And then they did it 2 more times.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Non-comedy writers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can just feel it's like it's that thing of you're too in love with the script. It's crazy to have an 8-minute script that feels padded.
Unlike our episode, which is an hour, it features certainly not 30 minutes of padding.
I don't find it as padding. Probably some of the best material we've done.
Oh, great. How would you improve the episode?
How I would prove it? The other way you could have done it is you age, and I think you can do it as a teen cartoon, and you age up the character so that he's at the beginning of law school, and we're going to say he's a teenager. I know that's not how law school works, but who cares? And you make it like an anime style thing, and you make it a Phoenix Wright thing, but with like worse bad morals where he's always trying to figure out in school, so it's all conceptual. He's always trying to figure out how to win the case in some really shady way, but he's still doing sort of the anime poses and stuff. I think that could have been a fun way to do this show. You can age it up or down. You can't do kids, but you can make it teens, you can make it older teens or adults, but sort of a anime style Phoenix Wright objection style thing, but he's always the worst slime ball.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think that's the weird thing about the show is that he's like, we're watching this super talented kid just kind of be amazing at things, and it's like, oh, the cool thing about this character is he's always the underdog, and he's always making like bad decisions that like not bad, like morally dubious decisions that are to his advantage.
When this thing started, I thought he was going to be selling snowballs, and I was like, "Oh, that's fun!" Because like snowballs are like that famously, that's an art move, or an artist did that. But also like the idea of like, here's a snowball, I'm going to sell it to you, and then it just melts, or he's selling faulty snowballs. Like that's funny. Those are jokes. That feels like it fits the character.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Do you have an improvement for it?
I mean, we've kind of been talking. I mean, it's pick a tone.
Yeah.
Pick a lane tone wise. As far as recommendations though, I'm going to recommend show Primal by Genndy however you pronounce his last name, the guy from Dexter's Lab, who it's a really great show. It kind of reminded me of the second episode where it's a whole bunch of non-verbal filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, if you've listened to this whole episode and for some reason haven't seen Breaking Bad, watch it, I guess.
Yeah. Or Better Call Saul.
Or Better Call Saul, yeah.
I would like everyone to watch. You know what? Watch Over the Garden Wall.
Yeah, seconded.
Yeah. It's a little
that's been suggested, I think, a couple times already. But
Okay.
absolutely, no, like, it's fine. Who cares?
Yeah, just watch like a good American animated film. You know what? Another one. It's for adults, but I think it's Midnight Gospel is just real fun and real good. Watch that instead. Like watch good. Here's my thing. Watch good television animation.
And if you want a second season of Midnight Gospel, Duncan Trussell has a whole podcast that's literally, they just took parts of that for the TV show.
Yeah, it's not as good because they don't animate it. And sometimes you realize he's talking to crazies. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, watch Midnight Gospel. Like watch like American or like any animation that isn't terrible. That where people care.
I just realized if they made a version of I Think You Should Leave for kids, it would just be like kids behaving normally. And they would be just as odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's called Kids Say the Darndest Things.
Yep. I think you're right.